All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. You probably hear a lot of background noise. That is indeed not because Jeff forgot to record and we are using camera audio. We are, if you're watching, we are not in the studio today. So we were planning on recording last week and posting because we've got a lot out on mission trips this week. So what we decided to do instead, because Jeff's voice wasn't feeling great last week, we decided to create a little Microsoft Teams video call with some of our guys on trip. So welcome. We got Cody, Will, and John all on. Cody and Will are together, and then John is on by himself, and we are all three in different time zones. What's up with that?
It's pretty impressive. It's like 3:30 my time. What time is it your time, Will?
We're at 1:20.
Yep. Nice.
And it is 8 a.m. here, 8:21. Honestly, I've never recorded a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams, so I'm hoping this works. If it doesn't, Jeff will never let me hear the end of it. So, but we'll give it a shot. Just wanted to kind of get an update of y'all's trip. So we're all, again, 3 different time zones, 3 different mission trips, and none of those are Tennessee or Central Time Zone. Just start us off. Will and Cody, you said it's 1 o'clock there. Where are you guys, and kind of what's your plan for this week? What will you guys be doing?
Well, currently we're in Middlesbrough, England, on the northeast coast. We're actually right on the North Sea. And we actually have a lot of things we're doing this week. Right now, we're at the Genesis Project. You can actually hear a lot of people in the background. And the Genesis Project is part of St. Oswald's and St. Chad's Church. It was started by Kath. What would be her title?
Deacon?
I don't know. I can't remember her title. Anyway, Miss Kath, and she saw a need to feed people, and then through that, or it was after school programming, and then it became feeding people during COVID, and it became having a prayer garden so people during COVID could come and talk to each other outside because that was legal. But what they've seen is that it's expanded the ministry of the church significantly. So the church itself has grown, which is an incredible feat, especially in the Church of England. And so they have a really robust mission here. We're also working with Steve, and Steve is getting us into the schools. And so we've done 2 school assemblies. Tomorrow we're getting ready for Mom Time, and then we have 2 more different school assemblies we're going to do, as well as food banks and some other stuff. But all of it's for the purpose of sharing the gospel. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. John, I know you are. You've talked about, or I guess in kind of our leading up to it, you said with the nature of where you're at that you're not able to share specifics of your location, but you're obviously in the Middle East and somewhere in that 3 o'clock time range. Just share with us what you guys and your team are planning on doing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been here since Saturday, so we've already been here a few days. No, we actually got here Friday. But we've been here a few days already. We are partnering alongside long-term international church planners, just living day-to-day life with them. So they've actually only lived here for a few months. They moved countries from where they were last year, and so in a lot of ways, we're helping them to get to know their new country, just going to malls and parks and beaches and other places that people might be hanging out, and just trying to engage with them and get in conversation and share the gospel. We've already talked with local people and tourists, and we've chatted with some refugees as well. We're actually at a refugee center right now. When I left the rest of the people on our team, they were talking with a man from Syria. And so living day-to-day life with international church planners, trying to meet people, engage with people, share the gospel, and just be an encouragement to them as well. Obviously, only being here a few months, they've developed some relationships. They actually have an evangelical church here, which we got to attend on Sunday, which was so beautiful. People from every tribe, tongue, and nation were there. It was awesome. But they're still developing a lot of relationships. So hanging out with them, allowing them to speak about what the Lord's been doing through them, their work, We played cards with them several nights, just being a close relationship that they can lean into and be honest about what they're going through is a huge deal for us. So we've had a lot of fun doing that too.
Oh, that's awesome. And this is the same. It's the same missionaries that you worked with last year there, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you said they were in a different
Yeah,
spot,
same.
but
Yeah, same people that we went to last year, and so a couple of us went on the trip last year, but 3 of us are new, and so it's been great to get to reconnect with them and great to introduce some more of our people to them as well. They love us. They say our trips, our team is just different for them, just because our people just care for them really well and are willing to jump in and be flexible, which is always helpful. So we've got a great time already, and the team's doing really well.
yeah, that's awesome. I know some people.
Where are you, Cameron? What are you doing?
Well, let me ask you first before, and I'll share. But some people have asked, with the Middle East, can't share kind of the secretive nature of it. Why is it so secretive where you're at? Why can't you just tell us where you are?
When working in places like the Middle East, it's really not for the safety of our team that we don't share the exact location. It's really more so for just the long-term viability and effectiveness of our church planting partners. So most countries in the Middle East are closed to the gospel, which means you can be there and be a Christ follower in most places, and that's fine. What is typically illegal to do in a lot of Middle Eastern countries is if you try to convince anyone to turn to your faith. And so because of that, our church planters who are in Middle Eastern countries oftentimes have to be just very strategic, lean into the Spirit as they seek to share the gospel with people. When we send teams in, we're able to be much more bold than they would be because we're only here for 8-9 days and then we head home. And so really we don't share the exact location, like I said, just for the long-term viability of our partners. They oftentimes have businesses to give them legitimacy, to give them a reason to be in the country. And so we wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize their long-term ability to stay in the country or their other friends who are also workers either in this country or in another country around the world. So yeah, that would be why.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yes, to answer your question, we are in New York City. We are kind of in the Jamaica, Queens area of New York, which is more south of Manhattan. And yeah, we're in this area working with one of our partners here, Global Gate. It's the same partner, same, again, like you said, same as last year, working with Brad Wall here. So kind of our mission, this area has a high population of people from Bangladesh. And so there's a high like Bengali Muslim culture here. And so they kind of target specifically that area. The cool thing is they're very religious people, but they call them sifting weeks. So we come in, we get training on the front end with Brad, and then we get to go out into the community, a prayer walk, maybe go door to door and just pray for people, start conversations. And really the goal is we look at Luke 10, which kind of describes this person of peace. And so it's the first 10 or 11 verses in Luke 10, if you read it. It's kind of what we base everything we do this week off of. But we're looking for people of peace, which are basically people that are interested in the gospel, people that maybe have questions or maybe even are believers that don't know what to do next. So that we can get them plugged in with Global Gates, because their mission is really like we as people who look very different, believe very different, grew up very different than a lot of people in this community are going to have a hard time really reaching them with the gospel and partnering with them, discipling them. But people who grew up in their culture, who maybe grew up in their homeland, who understand, have a much better just influence in their life and ability to disciple them. Brad gave in our training yesterday, so today's Tuesday, in our training yesterday was kind of the why behind everything. And Brad gave the example of a trailer park. So if you want to reach people in the trailer parks, best way to reach people in the trailer park are the people in the trailer park. Second best people to reach people in the trailer park are people who used to be in the trailer park. Maybe the third best is people who know people in the trailer park or who are related to people in the trailer park. So the closer you are to the people that you're reaching, the more impact you're going to have in their life. And so yeah, that's their mission in this area and kind of what we're partnering with them to do. So Yesterday we had our first training, and then we'll go on through the rest of the week. So looking forward to that. Kind of give us you mentioned a little bit about, John, you guys left Tennessee last Thursday. Will and Cody, you guys left on Friday. We left on Sunday. Y'all's trips were probably a bit longer than ours were. So John, tell us, you said you got there on Friday?
Yeah, we left Thursday morning and we got here Friday evening. So because we're going ahead a few time zones, and I think our flight time was about 21 hours, and then we had a little bit of a ride to get to the airport to the city that we're in. So yeah, it was a full day. We were probably close to 24 hours all in from the time we left Nashville to the time we got to our city.
So at this point, you're a few days in at this point. How's the trip gone so far? Do you have any stories you want to share? Anything that's happened? I guess you're not quite halfway, but getting near the halfway point of the trip. So how's the trip going so far?
Yeah, it's going so well. Typically, it takes a couple days for some to get over jet lag. For some, it takes longer. But the Lord's been really kind to our team. Our team's all been doing great. Been sleeping really well. The Lord's just really given our team already just a lot of unity. We've been talking about that a lot. Just the giftings that He's given us, the openness that He's given us to one another already, to have fun and to laugh, but also just to share about what the Lord's doing in us, and attack of the enemy, anything like that. So He's been really, really kind to us. But yeah, we've gotten to know the culture the last several days, both the people and just the area and the food. Have gotten to know our church planting partners, like I said, and their work, their ministry that they're doing here, which has been good, and just having a good time with them as well. And we've gotten to know a lot of the people already. So like I said, anything from going out to a park or even a beach type area or a mall, or today we're at a refugee center that they're predominantly serving refugees from Syria. And so stories have been just encouraged by the way that people have engaged and turned conversation spiritual. Already one of our team members, a couple of our team members yesterday was just so encouraged by how they were doing that, just as we were out at a park together, just walking around, prayer walking, and getting into conversations with people while we were out and about. And so that was really great. And then today we've been able to engage with a lot of refugees, like I said, and so has been encouraging to see our team willing to jump into conversation and pray. And I'm really, really excited to get inside and to hear about the conversation that they've been having with this man right now. They've been in there for a while with him, and I'm just excited to see what the Lord's doing. So yeah, just normal, everyday conversation. Some of our team members I was talking with one of them this morning. He said he was a little anxious getting here, just with some of the things that are going on in the Middle East, but he got here and saw so quickly how the Lord had led him to be here. And he's been jumping into conversations with people. He said he was uncomfortable. He didn't sense that he was very outgoing or good at getting in conversations. And it's been amazing to see the way that he's just jumped in and done so well, and oftentimes engaging in conversation better than some of the rest of us, which is always beautiful. Short-term trips have a way of showing giftedness just in a beautiful way. So it's been encouraging for me and then our other team members to be able to encourage him and others in some giftedness that we've seen.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about you guys, Will and Cody? You got there, I guess you left Friday. So did you get there Friday as well, or did it take till Saturday to get to England?
Yeah, so we left Friday night and got here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To the UK Saturday morning, noonish time. It was an 8-hour flight, and then from there we had to take the underground from the airport over to King's Crossing, which was a whole adventure in of itself because there's a football match going on here.
Did you see the platform 9 3/4?
We did get to see that after we nearly escaped from some crazed football fans.
Some Arsenal fans.
Yes, they were storming the subway.
Maybe a little inebriated.
Maybe a little bit. But made it safely. Got that thing. What?
Looters behind you creeping.
Come on, Salute.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. But yeah, then we got to King's Cross, and then it was a 4-hour train ride from there up to where we're at now. So 12 hours travel total. With all that going on, and it's just been hitting the ground running since we got here. Like Will was saying, getting plugged in with some of the schools, helping out with the Genesis project here, and it's been cool to see just the way everyone's been able to roll the punches, from the students to the adult leaders we have on the trip, and just the interaction points, the friendships that are forming, and just so many of them are already talking about wanting to come back next year, want to figure out more ways to get involved back home. And so it's just one of my favorite parts about taking students on trips is showing them, yes, you can go 12 hours away from home to do something like this, but you also have the opportunity right in your backyard to make those things happen too. And so seeing some of those ideas and some of the questions they're asking now, and some of the things they're wanting to get together for back home has been cool to see.
Yeah, that's really cool. And now for y'all's trip, Will, you're kind of leading the trip because you've been, is that right? You're leading the trip. Cody's, I guess maybe kind of co-leading a little bit, but with it being Cody's first time.
Yeah, I mean, predominantly I'm leading out. I get to drive, so
yeah.
Talk about the trip is driving on the other side of the road. I'm also driving
How's
the
that
stick
been?
shift. It's
Whoa, stick shift.
I know, man. It's been awesome. So
Where's
I
the
will
clutch?
say,
Is the clutch on the same side?
everything's the same as far as like positioning. But I think there was one time where I got stopped at a red light and they booked it, and I had to figure out where I was going, and I missed my turn on a roundabout.
Yeah.
And had to
You
kind of
didn't
start
stall
over, and I have not stalled out once. Not
Nice.
bucked, nothing.
Good for you.
It's been nice. It's like I just did it like when I was 17 years old. But yeah, so just heading out, making some of the decisions on trying to figure out. We have so many things going on here. This is the really neat thing about this partnership is we have an abundance of things, and so we have to decide who's the best fit for each thing. Because I think we've done 4 things today.
Yeah.
Right, and we got 2 more things this afternoon before we go and eat. And so, but Cody's been really instrumental in saying, I'm like, hey, what kids best work here? And he's done a really good job of thinking through that, and strategizing it, and being a real awesome presence for our students, and building the thing that I really wanted most for him on this trip was to really build relationships with our students, and watching the credibility and the buy-in the students have with him at such an early time in his ministry here has been unbelievable. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, the amount of new nicknames and inside jokes that have already started.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we get tea time.
That is
Hey,
true.
nice.
Ooh, tea time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Still afternoon tea.
Yes.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you said you're driving on the left side of the road, but everything's the same. So is the steering wheel still on the left of the car?
No. So your butt is, can I say that on the podcast? Your hip is on the inside.
He'll bleep it out.
Yeah.
Where's the button?
Yeah, your hips on the inside, right? So just like when we drive, everything's on the inside, but your clutch, your pedal, and your gas and your brake are on, would be the exact same. And so, but the shifter's on the left.
Shifter's in the left. So yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. That'd be
So
strange.
here's the thing. Back in high school, I'd be holding Jenny's hand with my right hand and having to shift with my left. So it's kind of like old times. So, I've done it before.
Nice.
Nothing but safe driving with this guy.
And they
Exactly.
counted how many curves I've hit, supposedly. So I'm at 12. But
You are not.
Jenny says I'm not. She's got my back. My
That's
son
brutal.
might
They're
be giving
counting
me a
your
hard time.
curves that you've hit.
I'm like, hey, yeah, you tried driving on the opposite side while shifting
Yeah, right.
and doing roundabouts.
And his car wasn't even the one
Typical
that broke down
students.
in traffic.
Yeah, we did have an alternator go out in one of the vans and just stopped
Really?
in the middle of the highway.
Yeah.
And
that
praise
was
God, everybody was safe, and we
Oh,
handled
man.
it. Good, but it was one of those things. But
Yeah.
hey, what's the first rule about mission trips? You got to be flexible and you got to roll with the punches.
Yep.
And go with the flow, yeah. Yeah. So for us, we got here on Sunday. We left the church at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. So it was an early morning. Got here, which is different from last year. Last year we left in the afternoon, so we went to church on Sunday and left in the afternoon. So we didn't get here till late, which was good because we went to church. And last year it was Mother's Day, so it was really good we went to church. But getting here late and then taking the shuttle from the airport to the subway and then dealing with subway stuff and getting down to Queens, it was quite difficult. So this year we got here much earlier, got our stuff to the hotel we were still very hungry when we got here because we got up so early. But we were able to get a little nap, and then we actually went to Manhattan on Sunday and saw some of the things to see and got some New York pizza. So went to Times Square, already got some cheesecake. So we kind of hit all the big level things on the first day, which was awesome. Like, got it out of the way. But it was good. Yeah, we saw a lot in Times Square. It was interesting. I can't remember the name of it right now, but one of the big, religions here is Hindu, and there's some type of a celebration or something that was happening on Sunday for one of the gods that they believe in defeated won a battle, something. And so they had this big rally in Times Square, like right in the middle. A ton of people down there. They were celebrating that. So that was kind of interesting to see on our first day. And then I heard last night yesterday was the anniversary of last year, the whole Palestinian Israel attack. And so there was like pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian both protests, both marches happening at the same time in Manhattan. I don't think anything major happened of it, but that was happening in Manhattan while we were down here. So we were like, yeah, we'll stay in Queens tonight. But yeah, so yesterday was our first day. We did our training with Brad, just kind of went prayer walk the area. And so, yeah, we'll do that today. Last year we had our free day on Wednesday to kind of break it up. But this year we've actually got two other teams from other churches that are joining us. And one of those is actually from Greensboro, which is one of the bigger churches in Greensboro, and is actually in my hometown as well. The girl I was telling John earlier, the girl that's leading the trip actually lives in the same apartment complex as my brother-in-law, which is like right behind the house that my grandma lived in when I was growing up. So it's just kind of small world with them being here. But there's three churches. So because of that, we'll actually do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday will be our free day. So we'll probably go into Manhattan again and see some more of the sightseeing stuff. But yeah, so it's only been a couple of days, but they've been good days so far. Let's see. I'm curious about food, because like I said, there's a large Bengali population here. So for us, I'll go ahead and start this one. For us yesterday for lunch, we went and ate at a Bengali restaurant. We kind of kept it semi-safe because Brad took us there last year. So I was like, we know what to expect a little bit, but it's got a new owner and it was completely different. So we were still the whole culture shock, everything of that. So we've already had some Bengali food. Jacob got a taste of a green chili, which story behind that, Eric took a bite, which they love spicy stuff. Eric Gateline took a bite and he's like, that's a spicy green bean, and just kind of like played it off like it was nothing. And then so Jacob was like, I'll try one. Jacob Page, so he takes a bite, and about that time I took a bite and I was like, oh, that's no joke. And I look over at Jacob. Jacob was struggling. He popped the second half in his mouth, ate the whole thing, but he was struggling. Apparently Eric got one of the ones with the darker seeds that wasn't as hot, so I made him eat another one too, just to feel our pain. But yeah, so we got that yesterday. What about you guys? John, have you had any local food, any interesting foods that you've been there?
Oh yeah, we've had local food every day. I would describe it as, if you've ever eaten like Mediterranean, Greek type food, would be a lot of what we've been eating. So a lot of pitas and tahini and tzatziki and cheeses and like mixed grills, stuff that's cooked on like a skewer over a grill. So pork, chicken, beef. It's all been pretty delicious. But there's also there's just a lot of people where we are that are from all over the world. Particularly a lot of people here from the UK. So we've had fish and chips a couple times, which I didn't expect.
Oh yeah,
which
nice.
I'm sure our friends over in Middlesbrough have had a little bit of too. But we've actually met a lot of people from Wales, from England, from Scotland as well, and so it's been fun to get a little of those foods too. We had McDonald's for lunch today. I always anytime you go to another country, you see McDonald's are different in every place that you go a little bit.
Really?
They have a little bit different dishes. So like this McDonald's had like a pita type thing with chicken in it. So I always try out whatever. So I got some of that. Some of the guys, our team got chicken nuggets. They said they were a little bit different than McDonald's in the States. They said they had more meat in them, and like the fry batter was a little bit different. So yeah, we went U.S. Western style and had some McDonald's for lunch, which was good.
Nice. So when you said you've been having local foods, I was going to say, so I guess that means you haven't had any, but you have. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we had some McDonald's today.
What about
And
you guys?
there's KFC here too. There's KFC in most places around the world, but I'm not sure if we'll get that. But had to get some McDonald's.
I don't think I would have expected that one. A little taste of
I feel like
Kentucky
there's
for you.
more KFCs internationally than there are in the States.
So being a Kentuckian, is that how you say that?
I
Kentuckian?
know.
All right,
Kentuckian, yeah.
Do you love KFC?
I do like it, but I actually don't frequent it that much. Ever since we've lived in Lebanon, I've never gone to the KFC. It's just right next to Chick-fil-A. So my kids love Chick-fil-A, so it's hard not to go there. And that honey pepper pimento sandwich just hits right every time.
Nice. Well, Cody, what about you guys? What kind of food experience have you had since you've been there in England?
So we haven't had any like the real traditional meals here yet. We've done some good food spots like an Italian place, a chicken place. We went to a German kebab shop the first night we were here, which
German doner kebab.
Yeah, when I think of kebabs, the German's not usually my mindset, but
No.
just get a big old cup of fries or chips, as they're called here, the meat right on top from the spigot, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was good.
So we did try to go get fish and chips yesterday because we went to Saltburn, but we hiked Roseberry Topping, which is a beautiful mountain. It's neat thing is Captain Cook set sail out of Middlesbrough, and so it's his home, and so we kind of were in a place where he would have hiked and dreamed, and then we went down to Saltburn, but the fish and chips place was closed because it closed at 3 and we were a little later.
Because closing at 3 on a Monday is just a great business idea, but
Yeah. What's crazy though is the water was probably 45 degrees, and you had all these like old ladies in a polar bear club jumping out, people surfing everywhere. It was great. That's a side note. So tonight we're gonna go get kind of a Middlesbrough kind of special. It's called a parm. And so, am I right, Steve? Parmo. I'm sorry. Being corrected by a local.
When you said parm, I was thinking of Parks and Rec, the Chicky Parm.
Yeah. That's right. So I think it's going to be like it's a pounded out chicken breast, and it's got cheese and a bunch of other stuff, fried
sauce.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a local thing.
It's an explosion of flavor in your mouth.
That's what I hear.
I'm ready for it.
That's right.
Wild.
That's right. And
it's very flavorful.
That's right. You had it at the pub when we came, and I think I got a meat pie. So we'll do that tonight. That's very local. But I mean, the food here is awesome.
Yeah,
like it's different. We did take a candy run in a
little convenience store,
a crisp run.
Yeah.
Early our first night to get snacks, and I imagine we're going back to Aldi today to go get some more.
Like when I tell you the kids had like 2 armfuls of whatever breaded candy they get their hands on, they're looking over at me now.
I'm pretty sure they've already eaten it all.
Yeah.
They said
yes.
And then talking about McDonald's,
using all the mom and dad money that they brought for all their treats.
Hey, man,
that's what for squashies. They got their squashies in.
Yeah.
Oh, you need more.
We also went to the grocery store yesterday. They have a Lidl here. There's a lot of Germans here, and so we got some unique treats too, which was fun, and chips. So
yeah.
Chips,
you got to try it out to get to know the culture. Chris,
you do.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They have KFC flavored crisp chips here.
Seriously,
they're very interesting. It doesn't really taste like KFC. It tasted more like pizza, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, KFC pizza, pretty similar taste. You know?
Hey, well, Papa John, or what is it? Not Papa John's. Pizza Hut and KFC are the same company.
Yeah, they have
That's
Pizza
true.
Hut here too.
It makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
and we did end up taking a group to McDonald's last night after dinner just to get some McFlurries and everything, which were not that different. We talk about like some of the different things, like Fanta here. Like it's actually made with like orange juice concentrate, and so it's more like a fizzy orange juice than it is like our orange soda back home.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah,
Dr. Pepper's not the same.
Have you had any haggis yet?
No, can't say we have.
So I think that's gonna be something we gotta hit
delicious.
up. It does, doesn't it?
If you're up in Middlesbrough, they'll have some good haggis up close to Scotland.
Maybe. They had it in the train station last time we were here, in like a little meat roll. Was that like a haggis meat roll?
I got it.
Tried it.
I got it there.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
Delicious.
It sounds disgusting, but it was pretty good. Just don't ask what you're eating.
They don't make it in cheap stomach lining anymore, so it's synthetic, I would imagine.
Well, I'm sure you got to go up to Scotland to get the real deal. But
get the real deal.
Yeah.
I just met a couple here today. That was from Scotland. So I chatted with them for a while. That was fun.
Yeah.
I've heard in England, like the food just is a lot cleaner. Like there's not as many added stuff and all that kind of thing. So a lot of people I've talked about that have gone to England come back.
Yeah.
Like, just your experience there, you eat a lot, but you feel so much better because the food's so much cleaner.
So that's my story. Whenever I come here, I feel 100 times better. But like if you pull up a crisp bag, a chip bag, and you compare the American ingredients to the exact same chips from England, there's like 2 or 3 lines of ingredients, where ours is like 7 or 8 lines, and it's all artificial. They're not allowed to use that stuff here. So it's different. It's way better quality.
Yeah. That's cool.
And the chocolate.
So lastly, nice.
Yeah.
We've again, it's the morning time here, so we're about to do our morning team meeting. But before we wrap up, just last question: what are some ways? So this will post on Wednesday, so there's still a little bit of our trip left when our people will hear this. So what are some ways that we and our people that are listening can pray for you guys while for the rest of your trip?
Yeah, so I'd just say continue to pray for us as we seek to earn favor with different prospects within the community. The school we had the assembly at today was the first time our partners here had the chance to work with that school. And so just we're trying to continue to help them win favor so they can continue to work when we're not here in the in-between times of our missions here. Pray for that, and that we just continue to have opportunities to be a light in whatever various capacities that is. If that's just to get to love on some of these kids, or get to be a help here at the Genesis Project, or to have a gospel conversation, that those opportunities would be there, but that we'd also have the boldness to step up and act upon them as well. It's one thing for the door to be open, but we're hoping that our team and us would be willing to follow through and do what we're called to in that next step too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. What about you, John?
Yeah, just continued unity for our team and with our church planning partners. The enemy does not want us to be here. He does not want us to be unified as a team and with our partners. And so we really seek to just intentionally pray for that even every morning during our team meetings. And so the Lord's been so kind to us already, but definitely continued unity and just favor and wisdom, honestly. Like I said, our partners have only lived here for a few months. This is our first time coming to this country. And so they're still getting to know the area. And so a lot of days we might wake up in the morning and have one thing that we plan on doing, but we don't have a plan for most of the rest of the day. So it's like, hey, where are we going to go? Let's lean into the Lord together today. And so the Lord's been so kind to us in that way too, leading us to the right places, to the right people to talk to, which has been beautiful, but really just depending on him and walking with him, which is beautiful. And so, yeah, just wisdom and favor with that, and boldness to proclaim the gospel. So few people here are Christ followers. It's just amazing for people who are Muslim background. They're born, and if you're born in a certain country, you're just automatically Muslim. That's just what you are. It's your culture. It's your background. And so if you turn away from that, you're turning away not only from your religion, but from your culture, from your family, from your very identity. So it's a big deal when people come to faith in places like this. And the enemy definitely has a stronghold here, but we know that Jesus is ultimately king. And so have had a great time trusting him with our team, but are just continuing to ask for the Lord to lead us to the right people and to give us boldness when he does, and that we would trust him for the fruit, and that he would do what only he can do, which is to save people and draw them to himself. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, as we hit, for you guys closer to the halfway point, but get through the trip. Team unity is a big one for all of them, because just being with people that you're not used to being around 24/7, being around them so much can cause just differences in personality. So unity is a big one for all of us. And then I think for us, one of the things God's been showing me is I think we can tend to come into these kind of trips with expectations of what we want to happen or what we think God needs to do. But just releasing those expectations to what he wants to do. So my prayers kind of shifted from, God, I pray that you would save people through us, or use our conversations to, like, yes, ultimately that's what he wants, but that just the prayer for me has shifted to however he wants to use us. And if he uses me in a conversation, or he uses somebody from another church in a conversation, regardless, that his ultimate plan would be what we submit to, and that we wouldn't get frustrated when it's not what we want, or when our expectations aren't met, but that we would just be faithful to what he calls us to, and that we would continue to surrender the week to him. Another one with a very populated city is just health. Last year we dealt with some sicknesses, and so just continued help for our team and for the trip as a whole, so that we can all have endurance. There's a lot of walking with what we're doing, so yeah, just endurance, health, stamina, all those kind of things would be great, and that God would do what he only can do. So yeah, well, thank you guys for spending a little time on the phone. We'll definitely be praying for you guys. Do you have anything to mention before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing, and I want our church to understand just how incredible our students are. I mean, they've come to this trip and they've been flexible. They've owned it. They've jumped into everything, but we should be very proud of our students and what they're accomplishing here. And so I really want our church to understand we have an incredible group of people rising up in the next generations, and something for us to be excited about.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's just a cool week, a cool time I don't know that we've ever had this as a church. We've got 3 different mission teams in different locations, different time zones, all at the same time. So it's pretty awesome to think about the ministry impact that's happening really in 4 different time zones, if you include Emmanuel this week. So it's pretty powerful to think about. So yeah, thank you guys for joining in. We'll be excited to hear kind of the fruit, or stories from the rest of the week once you guys get back. But yeah, again, thank you guys for taking the time to share with our people.
Yeah. Can we close it out by praying? I'd love to pray for you guys and us and our people back at home. We're a few days ahead of you guys, but in our devotional time this morning, we looked at just the story of the demoniac man in Mark 5, and just want to encourage you guys. We've been resting in this throughout the day. There's no person that's too far gone for God to save. There's no sin too deep for him not to save, and there's no person. There's no gift that he can't use. And so excited to hear stories from y'all's trip too, and see what he chooses to do through us. So yeah, you want me to pray, Cameron?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, John.
Yeah, let me pray. Father, thank you for just the reminder today that you are king. Lord, you are sovereign. You are king over Lebanon, Tennessee, just like you're king over New York City and the UK and in the Middle East. Lord, you are the Lord of the harvest. We know your harvest is plentiful, but your laborers are few. And so I'm grateful for ones like Cameron and Cody and Will and others on our teams who said yes to go. Lord, I pray just the way that you've prepared us to go, Lord, that you would be very near to us as we go. Lord, would you protect us against the attack of the enemy? Would you give us unity as team members? Would you give us faith and endurance to run after whatever it is that you call us to do, wherever it is that you call us to go? Or will we ultimately trust you to bring the fruit. Lord, thank you for the favor and the grace that you've shown each of us. Lord, thank you for the favor and grace that you've shown our church, that we get to send people not only throughout Lebanon, but to the ends of the earth. Lord, I pray the same thing for our people who are back home listening to this. Lord, I pray that they were spurred on. Maybe they thought about a family member or a neighbor or a coworker or somebody on their sports team who is far from you but close to them. Lord, I pray just the way that we're seeking to be intentional, to be ambassadors as we're on these trips, Lord, would all of our people do the same thing every day in their lives. Lord, what a gift it is to be a follower of you. What a gift it is to be your representative. Lord, would you give us the wisdom, the favor, the clarity, into who to talk to, Lord, and what conversations to get into. And then, Lord, we just trust you for everything. Lord, it's your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Well, again,
thanks,
thank you guys for joining. And listeners, thank you guys for listening. We will be back this weekend and see you on Sunday.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See y'all soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. See ya.
Peace.